had a huge impact on the automation industry, and I benefited through my company, General Motors, who used that information, that association, to further develop and advance robotics technology. A3 brought together all of the different supplier companies which could deliver the technology. The human capital, the people that knew how they operated and could work with them, and it had a big positive impact on the success of General Motors, and clearly it had a big positive impact on many other companies and the industry as a whole. had a huge impact on the automation industry, and I benefited through my company, General Motors, who used
Hello, good morning, and welcome back to Automate Live Day 2. We're so excited to be here at McCormick Place again in Chicago. My name is Jana Martin. I am the Director of Media Production here at A3, the Association for Advancing Automation, and I'm joined by my colleague, Alex Shikani, the Vice President of Membership. Alex, thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
It's so great to see you actually up on the keynote stage this morning introducing Del Costi from Siemens.
Yeah.
How awesome was that?
Del was a great guy. So I met him for the first time this morning. He's from Detroit. He lives like 10 minutes from my house. I learned so much about him. He's been in the industry for 23 years and is really, like, the examples he showed on the keynote stage this morning were iPhone-esque for automation applications. It was
incredible.
Like seamless, digital, just combination of different technologies.
We're going to get to hear more about that from him here at the desk today. He'll be on Automate Live later. And then don't forget, we have some amazing keynotes later this week. We've got tomorrow, Thursday, we've got Wendy Tan White from Intrinsic, and tomorrow is Daniela Russ from MIT. So don't miss that. But let's talk more about today for a minute. The startup challenges today, and Alex,
that's a highlight.
You're excited about that. Tell us.
I'm fired up. We have some great startups this year, from snow plow robot, like a lawnmower robot, but snow removal robot. That's a really cool innovation. We have ligament-style robot manipulation, really cool technology. We have a couple more grasping products. We have a radar vision solution that can help transform AMRs. They have their sights set on going big there. And then we have a foldable housing unit, autonomously set up, tear down, stackable. I mean, really cool stuff.
Wow.
And that's coming up at 1:45 p.m. today.
That's right, and it's going to be right behind us here at the Automate Show Theater, and there is $10,000 on the line today. The judges will be reviewing their presentations and then deciding the winner live later today, so don't miss it. And then, of course, we've got AMR demos. We've got all kinds of fun things going on the show floor. Alex, 800 exhibitors. Can you believe it?
I was actually told it's over 850 this morning. So, I mean, the number kept going up all the way through show open. There is one of the things that struck me yesterday was how much variety in technology is on display here. Even going from 23 show to now, you walk around and for any given technology, like collaborative robots, for example, you can see 10 to 15 different variations on how that technology is being created. And they're all a little bit different, a little bit different fit for different applications and industries. So I was remarking earlier, I think it was to Dell this morning, I was saying, we say it in our marketing that, like, if you have a challenge, no matter what industry you're in, you're going to find something here, a solution. That is absolutely true, just walking around. It's really impressive.
It's all here. There's still time to register free. Come on down to McCormick Place. If you're here in the Chicago area, we'd love to have you. And then stick around here on Automate Live. Like I said, we've got an incredible lineup. We're back to back with interviews all day today. Later this evening, I'm going to have the Deputy Undersecretary for International Trade, Diane Farrell, will be here on the desk. So don't miss that. And of course, she is here because we have an incredible global reception and panel later today. So go to automateshow.com and check out the schedule and find out all the details about where everything is. Push Corp, the Robot Industry Podcast, the Automation Ladies, Chris Hall and Chris Lukey.
Chris Hall, Jake Lukey.
I mix them up.
They work a lot
Don't
together,
forget them. They're going to be here on the desk too. So don't miss Automate Live. Don't miss Automate. We're here all week, Monday through Thursday. It's a great show. Thanks for being here.
Wishing all of you well out there. Hopefully those of you watching or seeing these videos decide to come on down and join us. If not, we hope to see you next year. Hope you're doing well, and it's an exciting time.
Yeah, here we go. Let's go. Automate Live, Day 2.
All right.
A3 has had a huge impact on the automation industry, and I benefited through my company, General Motors, who used that information and that association to further develop and advance robotics technology. A3 brought together all of the different supplier companies which could deliver the technology. The human capital, the people that knew how they operated and could work with them, and it had a big positive impact on the success of General Motors, and clearly it had a big positive impact on many other companies and the industry as a whole. had a huge impact on the automation industry, and I benefited through my company, General Motors, who used that information and that association to further develop and advance robotics technology. A3 brought together all of the different supplier companies which could deliver the technology. The human capital, the people that knew how they operated and could work with them, and it had a big positive impact on the success of General Motors, and clearly it had a big positive impact on many other companies and the industry as a whole.
Good morning, everybody. This is Winn Hardin with TECH B2B and the Manufacturing Matters podcast. It's a pleasure to see you all this morning. Thanks for joining us on our first live streaming session after Alex and Jana kicked us off with a great introduction today. Day 2 at Automate 2024 in Chicago, McCormick Place. There's an awful lot going on. I'm lucky enough to be here today with Linus Kilberg and Colin Ayers from Carroll Robots. Guys, thank you so much for joining me this morning.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. So kick us off. Tell us a little bit about what you guys do at Carroll.
Yeah, so my name is Linus Kilberg and I'm responsible on a global level for sales of the robot on the Bosch Rexroth side.
Beautiful.
I'm Colin Ayers. I work here in the U.S. I'm a regional national channel manager for the robots, so I take care of everything west of the Mississippi in terms of our sales channels.
Awesome. So it's my understanding some of the hot news for Cassell Robots has been your partnership with Bosch Rexroth, right? Big name, big leader in the industrial automation market.
Definitely.
So tell us a little bit about how that's come together, the synergies that enables you to provide.
Yeah, absolutely. So early 2022, Bosch Rexroth was looking to broaden their factory automation portfolio and really was interested in diving into the cobot market. So at the same time, Cassell Robots was rising up through the ranks and beginning to gain some notoriety, and they thought no better time than now to come together and add another technology to the already very diverse factory automation portfolio that Bosch Rexroth has.
And that's a strong solution, right? Being able to have an end-to-end automation solution, especially robotics, assembly, manufacturing, packaging like that. So, and it must be great having such a strong partner in your corner.
Absolutely.
For sure, that's where we make a difference. I mean, if we're looking on the market and what we can provide compared to a lot of what's out there,
right.
we do have that complete portfolio that we can offer to our customers and to our partners, which is where we make a difference. We're not just a robot manufacturer,
right.
We're a factory automation provider.
And has the integration of the different product portfolios come together? Are we well into progress in that area? Because that's usually one of the great benefits, right, of being able to have a complete full line of robotic solutions. Because it's
definitely. I mean, if the people are now coming over to a booth, which is actually just right across the hallway here from where we are, so not far away, 4250. You can actually see for example, the Smart Flex Effector, which is a compensation unit from Bosch Rexroth. We have the integration with our PLC control system with the Control X.
Yep.
So it's already going on quite well with the synergies that we do have in the existing portfolio as well. So
beautiful, beautiful. So when I was walking through the booth earlier and yesterday, I noticed the Edge Edition seems to be the big new news, right? So what can you tell us about Edge Edition?
Yeah, so the Edge Edition is the smallest footprint cobot on the market right now. So we've taken the controller box, which is a pain point for any robot. You know, it takes a lot of space, and we've been able to shrink that down and place it into the base of our robot. Sometimes it's difficult to think about until you see it.
Right.
So we definitely want you guys to come over to the booth and see it. And it lends itself, very well to these AMR applications where you've got limited real estate on an AMR to put a robot on top, or anywhere where space is at a premium. We've been able to eliminate the controller box, and you don't lose any of your I/O capability or anything else like that.
Beautiful, beautiful. So, Linus, we've been hearing a lot in recent years about putting cobot arms onto a mobile pedestal or an AMR solution. So is the demand finally starting to ramp up for that?
Definitely. I mean, you can see the warehouse automation or the intralogistics.
Right.
It's really starting to boom as well. We do have a lot of the AMRs and the AGVs. Also, we got in the factory automation portfolio from Rexroth, also in addition to that.
Right.
So there we also do got some synergies. But we see this AMRs, automation solutions, becoming more and more important because we don't have enough labor to be working in the warehouse. So this is really important to get that automation done.
Okay.
And of course, you need a robot arm to do. To make some picks, to make some milk runs or whatnot.
Right.
So we now are able to enable that for the end users to be able to put a robot arm on an AGV without having any type of larger control cabinets on board on the AGV, which of course limits the space needed as well for the end user. So this business is really growing up pretty fast, and it's also, of course, one of our main focuses from the Bosch Rexroth side and Cassell side that we really want to focus on this segments.
Anything I think that increases the productivity per mission in a warehouse is a critical KPI, right, for those operations.
Yeah.
Colin, what other, in addition to warehousing, I got to think either in general assembly, bringing parts to assembly tables, or are there other industries, applications that are benefiting from Edge Edition?
Yeah, basically anything where you want to, move and kind of eliminate some of those, the roadblocks that you see moving, whether it's parts across a factory or, from one station to another, and logistically you need to streamline that process.
Right.
When you can put, an arm on top of an AGV, you can do two tasks at once. So things like that, it's it's incredible how many applications continue to open up with those solutions.
Let me just jump into that
Please.
as well, because
Yeah.
another important part of that is the Edge Edition fits very well into OEM machine builders that are building, for example, machine tools. You got to do machine tending. You got limited space on a machine tool, for example.
Right.
Or if we're speaking about a complete line that you're building a big machine for an end user, right? So you got limited space. You want to include the robot inside of the line and the machine as well. And there we're actually providing a super compact solution, and especially with the 7th axis that we can navigate in very confined spaces. That gives us a huge benefit for the market, for the end user to do that, and of course also for the OEMs to be able to integrate the robot arm directly in their machines instead of doing it in the brownfield, so to say. You can really go into the greenfield.
Right, and that 7th axis has been your bread and butter, right, since Gazoo Robots was created, which, if my understanding is, allows you to, especially in retrofit applications where floor space is incredibly tight, you're trying to tend multiple machines at one time, and that 7th axis allows you to just get into very tight corners without repositioning the robot, although Edge Edition now gives us the ability to be more mobile if we're, I'd love to see some of the modern work cells designs where the bot is actually no longer stationary on the floor at all, just a ring of machines and doing its business. So.
Definitely. I mean, speaking about the 7th axis and perhaps also with Edge Edition, for example, machine tending, I mean, put it on a linear guidance or just on an AGV or AMR, I mean, move it from one place to another to have the robot tend to several machines. This is a huge thing that we get, and of course also with the 7th axis that we have the possibility to reach in and grab around the corner, meaning that we can always give the operator full access to the machine room.
Right.
And we don't have to block that.
Excellent
So for example,
point.
if you got to go into a machine, pick up a workpiece and bring it out to the table again, if you got to do maintenance in that machine, you got to remove a 6-axis cobot or a robot. But if you got a 7-axis, you can actually put it on the side, meaning you can go in, grab around the corner, and always have full access to the machine room.
Beautiful.
So this is a really big benefit, and as you said, this is our bread and butter. Of course, it's not only machine tending that's benefiting from the 7th axis, because you can do very complex move in a confined space.
Right. I can imagine a lot of industries, medical device assembly, any kind of clean room environment. Although I don't know, is it clean room certified? Can you put an Edge Edition into a clean room environment?
So we're going through the tests at the moment, and we're getting a certificate now. So one of the certifiers of the clean room, they do have our robot now, and we're progressing there, and it looks pretty promising. What we've been hearing for the results. So pretty soon we'll also have that.
Beautiful. Colin, does the Edge Edition come with an optional vision system, or can you tell us a little bit about the sensing technology, or is it pretty much program path?
So our robots, we manufacture the robots. We don't manufacture peripheral products, but what we do have is our new KR Pulse ecosystem portal.
Right.
So you can see that online on our website, and you can search by solution or manufacturer and see a full lineup of all the peripheral products that we work with. So you'll find vision, grippers, everything you need to kind of make that complete system.
Yeah.
It allows you to do that online before you're sitting there looking throughout, all the different products. So.
Okay. And I was just checking out that I think the KR Pulse was a fairly recent announcement, if I'm not mistaken, in that area.
It was. We released that in February, and of course all our partners, all the customers have been for a long time asking about where can we see the peripheral equipment that is compatible with your robot, and now we actually do have a very nice platform to display that for both for our technology partners and of course also for the end users and for the integrators as well to make use of that system. And if you once again come over to a booth, you'll see a lot of those technology partners being on site with us, providing solutions and showing solutions. I mean, we got tightening, we got dispensing, for example, we got palletizing software. So our aim is to make it as easy as possible for the integrators and for the end users to do automation. This is our target, this is our goal, this is what we want to achieve.
I know it's been a project that's been under development for some time, right? I mean, because you've got a lot of partners already on that system. So it's not like it's a bare bones closet. I mean, it's already full with technologies, partners, capabilities. So that's a great thing. Are there any particular partners you want to mention in particular regarding maybe what's in the booth, or what else will we see other than Edge Edition maybe in the KR line. I'm sure that's over in the booth. But
Yeah, so we have all of our KR models as well, of course, as our Edge Edition, but we've got several different applications throughout the booth with our partners from Morel that have created not only the Edge Edition, but also some smart flex effector applications from Bosch Rexroth. So
Okay.
that's one of our peripheral products that allows for a lot of kind of turnkey pick and place applications to be built and solutions like that. So not only that, but we have several other solutions you can come by and see, whether it be welding, palletizing, dispensing. There's a lot to look at over at the booth.
Awesome. Look forward to going back over there and getting a deeper dive after this segment. So tell us, we're getting to the end of our time here. What are the applications and industries that are hot right now? What's driving the market?
So I find what's really driving the market is that turnkey solution, whether that be a pick and place or whatever industry you're looking at, machine tool, medical, EV, anywhere that you can create that solution where, because nobody wants to buy a robot, they want to buy a full solution.
Right.
They want to solve a problem. So that's the route we're really trying to push with our ecosystem, like we've talked about, is not only selling our robots, but selling the solution as a whole. So the more that you can do that, the more success we've seen and more enthusiasm we've seen behind the robots.
Absolutely. I think that's a big driver for the overall market, right? These integrated solutions that don't have to be run by engineers. That's the most critical element, I think, here. It's just not enough engineering talent out there to be monitoring and managing the systems.
That's part of what's driving the market, like the labor shortage, and
Right.
especially the qualified labor shortage.
Absolutely.
But it's getting also harder and harder to find people that want and can do also the simpler tasks as well, just moving a box from A to B. I mean, it's the health, the HSE environment. It's getting more and more also critical. We need to provide a good working environment for the people. We need to make sure they have a safe job, and this is also, of course, where we can help out a lot with a cobot to solve that problem.
And it makes sense because when you think about robots being, doing dull, dirty, dangerous work, warehouse industry probably has one of the highest turnovers of any of the industries that we serve in industrial automation. It's just a hard job, So it's the work we're doing. I think is truly helping mankind at a basic level. You don't think about when you think about robots as much, but when you think it really does impact people's lives for the better, and not just in what is now capable of being produced, from a warehouse or a factory at cheaper prices, better quality, but making people's jobs, a whole lot more enjoyable and better. So, for sure.
Absolutely.
Gentlemen, I can't thank you enough for spending some time with us today, and I really appreciate Linus and Colin, you guys taking a little bit of time out of your day to come over here.
Of course, we're happy to be here. Thanks for having us.
Our
Thank you
pleasure.
very much.
It's day 2. I know you need to hustle back to the booth because today's going to be a high traffic day. There's going to be
Busy.
lots of discussions. So thank you so much, everybody. My name is Winn Hardin. Get us a chance. Be sure to stay online for our next segment. Check out Manufacturing Matters podcast when you can, and I look forward to seeing you on our next show. Hopefully I'll see you guys before next year.
Yes,
do that.
absolutely. Yeah.
Awesome.
Great.
has had a huge impact on the automation industry, and I benefited through my company, General Motors, who used that information, that association, to further develop and advance robotics technology. A3 brought together all of the different supplier companies which could deliver the technology. The human capital, the people that knew how they operated and could work with them, and it had a big positive impact on the success of General Motors, and clearly it had a big positive impact on many other companies and the industry as a whole.
Hello and welcome back to Automate Live. I'm Jana Martin, the Media Production Manager here at A3. We're really excited to talk about education here with these folks. I'm joined by Rich Ramey, my colleague here at A3. He is the Director of Education. Also, next to him is Carrie Giles. She is the ACTE President-elect. Carrie, Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
And then, of course, we have Andy Shafts, and you are the Senior Director of Development at RECF. Andy, thank you for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
So, Rich, I hear you've got some things to talk to these folks about in education. I'll let you take it away.
We're excited to have them here today. Carrie Giles, could you tell us a little bit more about ACTE and the amazing things that your organization is doing right now for education?
Sure. Thanks, Rich, for having me. This is my second time attending the conference, so happy to be here. The Association for Career and Technical Education, we're the largest national education association, so we represent all career fields. We have close to 27,000 members, and I currently serve as the president-elect on the board. I'll take over as the president this summer. But really excited to be here and collaborate with so many business and industry partners.
Yeah. And Andy, tell us a little bit more about the REC Foundation.
Sure, Rich. I also have my 2-year Automate pin, so my second year as well. The REC Foundation is the Robotics Education and Competition Foundation, and we try to keep the barriers of educators approaching STEM as a competition as low as possible. There's a lot of folks don't have that nostalgia of, like, say, a sport they played. So when it comes to robotics, what we try to do is provide every resource available so that we can have STEM students that want to compete have that opportunity to compete. So globally, we're in over 90 countries, and over 33,000 teams competed in the 23-24 season.
Incredible.
A lot of students, yeah.
I was at your event in Dallas the last 2 years, and years ago I had taken teams to some of the world events, state events. I'm just so impressed with the preparation of the students and their engineering notebooks and everything that's being done by the REC Foundation to prepare students for careers in robotics and automation. Now, as you know, we have over 1,300 member organizations, and we're looking for workforce like every other organization in the world right now. We need students well prepared for robotics and automation. What are some of the things that you see in your role that our members could do to help the REC Foundation better prepare students and connect them with industry?
It's funny you say that, Rich, because a lot of times we say robotics is just a sneaky way to get kids excited about science and math, but it's not just science and math. It's also a future career. And so exposure to not just STEM competitions like you would think of where you see robots driving around a field or a drone flying through the air, but we have bridged that gap into workforce even a step further by creating a work cell where students can now compete to say we have a palletizing competition where they work with a 6-axis arm and they get closer and closer, stepping in through competition, through the fun ways of competition, stepping closer and closer to industry. So of your 1,600 members here, I'd say start exposing them not just to workforce development, but also to what your company specifically does, whether it's the automation side, the mechanism side, or even the sensing side. I've walked around here yesterday and this morning, and it's amazing to just see how it's changed even in 1 year, about how much focus is now on this sensory, not just the arms itself. I don't see the giant arm this year, but I see so many fast frame rate cameras and all the different types of sensors around metallurgy and things, and I'm just impressed with where technology is going. Let's let the students come along with you on that journey.
Oh, I agree. That's some amazing information for our members. Carrie, ACTE is a very large organization, and they're heavily focused on skilled trade development. How could you see us and our members, our organization, working with ACTE to help improve, our ability to get students, graduates into our workforce, but also help the teachers and educators and administrators expose them better to robotics and automation careers?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think sometimes we get a little bit siloed, so we're in our own worlds, right? But I think the two associations could collaborate, partner together. Also, though, for all of the business and industry partners, I think it's really important to get involved at the local, state, and regional level. There's opportunities for educators and students to come into, your business and industry and learn more about what you're doing. Sitting on business advisory councils is also really important to get involved. Our students and educators need to know what the latest technology is. So sharing that information is a great opportunity, and also attending each other's events like this conference and this show, and then attending smaller events where you can have more interaction with those educators.
Yeah, and we value the membership of both of your organizations, and you've helped us a lot in our education committees to better understand how we could make a greater impact on education. I'm just really excited, both of your organizations, what you're doing right now. Your website and you have a big event coming up too, right, this fall?
We do. We have our largest conference. It'll be in San Antonio, Texas, December 4 through 7. So we have thousands of secondary and post-secondary educators that attend that event. That's our largest event. And it's a great opportunity to collaborate, learn more about what ACTE does, but like I said, also to get more involved as business and industry partners.
And about how many people attend that event each year?
I believe this year we had around 6,000, so it's a very large event for educators.
And then Andy, your ability for our memberships, if they want to learn more about your organization, where would they go?
Well, they could go to ACTE conference because we'll be there. So, I mean, it's the who's who.
And you're here this week.
And we're here this week. If you want to know more about the REC Foundation, go to the website, recf.org, or just reach out to us through that website. But more importantly, what I'd love for everyone here to do is go to a local event. There were over 3,000 events in the United States. I would venture to guess there's one within 30 minutes of every facility at this, represented at Automate this year. And if you want to go as an observer, we have a policy, we never charge. It's always free to the public because we want to inspire not just the students, but also the parents and the board of directors and the mayor to support what those teachers and coaches and event partners are doing. So we always keep it free to the public. So first go and then volunteer. Nothing impacts a student more than when they see an adult invested in that time being a judge or a referee, wearing their polo with their logo on it, whether it's the Yaskawa or Kuka or Fanuc or any of the other thousands of names here, and let the students know that's an actual career choice. They don't need to just follow in the footsteps of their parents. They can actually go into manufacturing, and it's almost like the science fiction of their parents are where they can work today. But really being in there, being present, whether it's at a conference or even at a more local level, more communal level at the actual events. Yeah, and if you want to find an event, you can always go to robotevents.com. We list all the events. Type in your zip code, it'll list all the events in that area.
And what grade levels?
Our public events go from anywhere from the 4th grade level all the way through university.
Okay. And so your different groups this year, you had in Dallas, Texas just recently. You had college, high school, elementary, junior high.
Yes.
ROTC.
Well, that's a subsection of high school, but a very important subsection because that's a career choice that not only leads to workforce, but also leads to the protection of our country. So the leadership of JROTC decided to let their students have access to robotics and drones in high school as they move on into a career, possibly even in the military field.
Wow. That's great information. Carrie, so specifically what grade level does your organization impact?
Well, we represent any student and educator that's in career technical education. So we're seeing, as you know, career technical education get moved down to the middle grades. And so that's kind of the wheelhouse. Any secondary or post-secondary educator that's involved in career and technical education.
And you're seeing is funding different, being done differently nationwide? Are you seeing a difference in the funding levels for state and local programs now that we have a huge emphasis on career-ready students when they graduate?
Yeah, I think, I guess the paradigm has changed. Career tech is back, and so it's a hotter field now. Everybody used to think just about college and university, but career tech is so important, not only to our local and regional areas, but to our country, and to keep our manufacturing and automation and all these things going. So we're seeing kind of this splurge of career and technical funding as well.
Yeah, so I would urge our members to get heavily involved in these two organizations. They're doing great things to help promote workforce readiness and exploration of robotics and automation skills, and really AI and everything else that's coming along. They're hitting it in their programs and their contests. They're always on the edge of the curve, I think, for what we need. So I'm seeing some really great things out of your programs. I'm excited that you're here. And
Excited to be here.
The booth in the back, the REC Foundation's booth in the back, has an amazing brand new work cell in there that's made for schools. That, from my standpoint, I think it's ideal for young students to learn how, and even college students, high school students, secondary, to learn how to do work cells. And we see a lot of work cells here. And you're impacting vision in that. You have conveyor systems. You can hook up multiple robots, inputs, outputs, programming. Everything that we're seeing here, young students can do and learn. I really
at a
like
scale,
that.
right? At a scale that's
safe
approachable.
scale.
Well,
Yeah.
obviously safe, but approachable as well. I can't imagine a 5th or 6th or 7th or 8th grader walking up to one of the larger arms saying, yeah, that's what I want to do, and it's almost the same size as them. This one's at almost like a toy size, but not at all a toy.
Right.
And I like the overlap of the organizations. I was a career tech teacher that did VEX competitions, robotic competitions for years. And, a lot of career centers have both your, organizations involved. So it's a win-win for A3 to be a part of what you're doing right now.
Can I just throw in a question here? Thinking then now about the future, what each of you carry first, what are you really excited about for in the future of this education?
Yeah, I think one of the most exciting things is thinking about preparing students for careers that might not even exist yet, So we have to think outside the box. The technology is changing so fast, and all of our career fields are changing. So our students that are, in elementary or middle school may work in a career that doesn't even exist right now. So that's why it's so important to be involved with business and industry and stay on the cutting edge.
Absolutely. Annie, what would you add to that?
Ditto. Not much to add. The one thing I learned at Automate last year, hearing some of the speakers, is just how much onshoring is happening in the United States. We offloaded so much industry, and now we're realizing that bringing it back in actually is financially feasible and more efficient doing it here. Yeah. And because of that, we've lost maybe a generation or two of people that it was a generational hand down to go into industry.
Right.
We have so much to make up for to get that being a career choice again. So that's why I'm so glad ACT is here. I'm glad that we're here. I'm glad that y'all are allowing us to have almost a podium to speak for that student that doesn't know what they don't know yet.
Exactly.
And we need to get that in front of their faces.
And if they want to contact your organizations, where would they go? What's the best website, contact information?
Ours is acteonline.org.
Awesome.
And we're recf.org.
Awesome. And of course, we are automateshow.com and A3. We're really excited about all the work that Rich is doing in education, and so thrilled to have so many incredible folks like Andy and Carrie here at the event this year. So thank you for tuning in, and we will be back soon with more here from Automate Live.
has had a huge impact on the automation industry, and I benefited through my company, General Motors, who used that information, that association, to further develop and advance robotics technology. A3 brought together all of the different supplier companies which could deliver the technology. The human capital, the people that knew how they operated and could work with them, and it had a big positive impact on the success of General Motors, and clearly it had a big positive impact on many other companies and the industry as a whole.
Hi again, welcome back to Automate Live. My name is Jana Martin and I am the Media Production Manager here at A3, here at Automate Live. Joining me today is my guest, Chuck Ridgway. He is the Automation Technology Manager at Horner Group. Chuck, thank you so much for being here today.
It's a pleasure being here.
So tell us a little bit about Horner Group. How are you guys revolutionizing this automation industry here?
So for those who aren't familiar with Horner, we are known for all-in-one controllers. So we are a manufacturer of automation components. Basically, it's a PLC with a built-in HMI. So very popular with OEMs, you know, for doing machine control, especially in applications where maybe you don't have a lot of real estate, You get the best of the functionality of both the PLC and an HMI in a single component. So that's
Amazing.
one of the things that we do that really well, and we've been doing it for 25 years now.
I was going to say, you were here on Automate Live last year. You can go back and check out Chuck if you missed it in 2023.
Absolutely.
You've been coming to Automate for some time then, too.
Oh yeah,
I assume.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, we find it's definitely the premier automation show in the United States, no question.
Thank you. Well, tell us a little bit about what you guys are really excited. Is there any big news?
Sure.
What do you have here at Automate this year?
Sure. So, big new product release for us right now, getting ready to ship, is Canvas, which is our new top-end line of all-in-one controllers. So we're really excited about Canvas. We've got a couple other lines that are terrific that have their place in the market, and Canvas is going to take its place kind of at the top of our product line.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about Canvas.
Sure.
What makes it different, special, or unique?
Right. So when you have an all-in-one controller, you really need to have a pretty powerful processor to handle, you're doing everything in one controller, right, or in one processor. You're doing graphics, you're doing logic, you're doing all the networking. So of course, as the new high-end controller in our product line, it's got a more powerful microprocessor. We can talk about some of the differences there. Graphics is a big thing, and that's why we named it Canvas. Because even though you could always do really nice graphics in our other product lines, we wanted to really kick it to the next level with Canvas. And then of course, with Industry 4.0 and digitization of manufacturing, the IIoT additions in Canvas are a big deal.
Absolutely. So tell us now, let's talk about this main processor.
Sure.
How is it different, and really what can it do? What is it capable of?
Sure. So one of the real big differences here is that it's a multi-core processor. So when you're doing graphics and you're doing logic and networking, having multiple cores where you can dedicate a core for logic and another one for graphics, that's a big deal. So the multiple core processor is really the biggest thing that sets it apart.
And that's going to make it operate faster, more efficiently. You're going to be able to get things done.
Absolutely, and regardless of what you do with graphics, how fancy your graphics are, it's not going to have any impact on your logic scan or your networking capabilities. So that's a big deal.
Right, that's huge. Okay, so let's talk about this graphics feature
Sure,
in a little
sure.
more detail.
Right.
I mean, you've mentioned it,
Right.
but sell us on that.
Sure, okay. So again, all of our products have really good graphics capabilities, but with Canvas, we wanted to really kick it into the next level.
Yeah.
So what we did, we redesigned a lot of the graphical building blocks that customers can use when they're building their HMI screens and their HMI functionality.
Right.
So we're talking about, as an example, if trending isn't important in an application, we've gone from 4 pens to 16 pens per screen.
Wow.
With a lot more control at runtime in terms of what trends are displayed at any given time. You can scale them more flexibly, multiple, y-axes, all kinds of that sort of thing. So that's on the trending side. If you take a look at alarms, we've always had good alarm capability, but now we have new ways to enunciate alarms for operators and for them to reply to those and to respond to those. We have a video object. So if you are a machine builder and you want to include some simple help videos on the machine to show an operator maybe how to load a part or a maintenance person how to make a simple filter change or something, you can do that. You've got a video object on the screen. Again, it's not going to impact your logic scan or anything like that. So those are just a sampling of some of the enhancements we've done with Canvas on the graphic side. There's a lot more.
And that's just so great to think about because, that is where this industry is going. We talk a lot about, bringing more people into this workforce.
Right.
And really the opportunities are open to those new workers
Sure.
because these interfaces are getting so much better. And,
Absolutely.
And the graphics there. And you can have an instructional video there, right there. So
Yes.
that's really awesome to hear about.
It's good stuff.
Okay, let's talk about what kind of IIoT functionality it includes.
Sure. So we've, some of these things aren't necessarily new, but they're all bundled and standard with Canvas. Okay. So let's start with MQTT Sparkplug. So we've supported MQTT Sparkplug for a while in our other products, but it's an option, right? It's a one-time license upgrade for those folks who are looking to push data. Maybe in an industrial application, maybe they've got inductive automation's ignition, and that's a really good way for them to push data up to a web SCADA package like that. So we've supported that for a while, but again, it's standard with Canvas. Now, another capability we've had for a little while, but again, you had to pay extra for it, was remote monitoring and control, some HTML5 based remote monitoring and control. So if you want to see, what's going on in the machine, maybe even do a little bit of control remotely or make some adjustments remotely, through a mobile device or a web browser. You could do that, but you had to pay a little extra for it. Again, with Canvas, even though Canvas doesn't cost a lot more, that's included as standard. And then one other big thing that's happening is, a lot of our customers are mid-size and smaller OEMs. And they have spoken to us and said, we know the digitization is important. We're not big companies. We don't want to do it ourselves. We want Horner to give us the tools so we can do that. So we're in the process of getting ready for beta on a new Horner cloud service called OCS 360. So we've got, a version of MQTT that's designed really simple interface. They go through the variables in their program, they check the box on the ones they want to publish and how often they want to publish them, and then that goes up to the cloud, to the Horner cloud. And again, that's not going to be for every customer, but for some of our customers that aren't huge, again, they want us to provide those tools. So when they get that data up to the web, they're going to be able to obviously, aggregate the data. They're going to be able to do dashboarding, do alarming, do all those sorts of things. And of course, with AI coming down the road, you got to have the data before you can do anything with AI. So just start gathering the data now, get a couple years worth of data, and then if you're ready to implement AI, you've got something to work with.
Right.
Yeah.
That cart has to come before
Exactly.
the horse there.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's talk about Seascape 10.
Oh, sure.
Okay, can we jump to that?
Yeah. So Seascape 10 is Seascape is our application development program that you use to program any of our controllers.
Okay.
So it doesn't matter whether it's our lowest end controller or a highest end controller, one we did 15 years ago or the newest one, it's the same software package.
Okay.
Right. But Seascape 10 is the one we've been working on seemingly forever. So it's probably, I probably had it in we were doing planning for it like 5 years ago. So
okay, so what's happening?
What's happened now? Okay, so the good news is, before you can use Canvas, Seascape 10 has to be released. So we'll be launching everything either this month or at the very beginning of next month, so it's finally out. I don't think I've ever heard anybody say, we were so pleasantly surprised that our software release came out a year early.
No.
Yeah, that doesn't seem to happen,
No,
does it?
you need to get it right.
Exactly. So with all the new graphics we were working on, and we wanted to roll in some of the best tools that were available in the marketplace, it took a lot longer not only to implement those in the software, but also to do the optimization, because our customers are used to fast performance of the graphics at runtime.
Absolutely.
And we implemented these amazing, quasi off-the-shelf graphics libraries and realized they just weren't fast enough. So we had to do really probably a year worth of optimization before we could get it to market. So that was one big thing, and then of course COVID happened, so that doesn't speed things up
That
at
never
all.
happens. I can
Exactly.
relate to that in the video world. Graphics and
Right.
video, it's hungry for the data.
Absolutely.
You gotta feed it.
That's right, exactly.
All right, so Horner Automation has always been known for PLC and HMI products.
Right.
Are you previewing any new or future hardware here at Automate?
Sure. So while this isn't quite ready yet, again, we're known for the all-in-one, right? One piece of hardware that does, the PLC, the HMI, all the networking, everything. Now, that's very attractive for applications where they don't have a lot of space. A lot of cases, it's great to have that one piece. But there are still applications where they just prefer to have the controls buried over here and the screen out closer. So what we've done, which we think is really exciting, is we've got a new platform that we're calling OCSIO CPUs. Okay, so these are a new series of CPUs. If you look at them, you feel like you're looking at a PLC, right? You've got a rack with I/O. It's a terrific looking I/O system. You've got a CPU on the front, and it's basically got a Canvas processor inside of it.
Okay.
And you're thinking, okay, I'm looking at a PLC. Why in the world do I need a graphics capability in this PLC if it doesn't really have a screen on it? Well, what we've done that's different is instead of just having a separate HMI, which has its own program and it requires configuration and it connects over Ethernet or something, what we've actually done is we've utilized some technology that's used in the automotive industry for your touchscreens that are scattered throughout your vehicle, and in the emergency vehicle industry where you might have a fire truck that has touchscreens in multiple locations. And what they do with that is the touchscreen becomes really a component without a program, and there's a single cable that has the display, the touch, and the power ruggedized cable, goes to the display component, can be, I believe, up to about 15 meters away. So you bury that controller in your backplate, you program it like every other Horner controller. It's like it's one component, but that display is mounted remotely with a single cable, and now it's like you pulled the screen off the unit and just put it where you want it. So that's really cool. We're the only ones doing anything with that technology in the automation world. It's pretty awesome.
So you've talked today about all of these cool innovations, all these new product changes.
Right.
You've been in this game for a while.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of where do you get that inspiration from to make these upgrades and do all these changes?
Sure. So what we try and do is be responsive to our customers and to the market as we can. So one of the things we're doing this week is on the back, you can't see on the back of my shirt, is it's saying, ask me what's next.
Right, because you're wearing, let's point out, you're wearing an Eclipse shirt. We just had a legendary eclipse happen recently. You were in the line of sight. You were telling me you had a big event.
Oh yeah,
there
in Indianapolis. Yeah, we were right there in the 100% zone. Right,
Amazing.
So it was very
Amazing.
cool. And so this picture, by the way, was taken by one of our marketing folks, Emily Tedder. She captured the event fantastically. But anyway, so what that event, like this event, is opportunities for us to get feedback from from accounts that we don't deal with and accounts that we do, obviously.
Right.
And of course, when we say on the back of our shirt, ask me what's next, we're going to tell them what's coming from Horner, of course, but we're really interested in finding out what's next from you.
Right.
What are you looking for? Why are you here? Why are you attending the show? What are you looking for in your next generation of automation? What maybe can Horner do to kind of, be your supplier or help you along that journey? So that's really what we're after with this.
And you are really listening, clearly.
Yes.
All these new product
Absolutely.
innovations and changes.
That's right. That's right.
I love to hear about it. So, we're excited to be here at Automate.
Sure.
Definitely come by, check out Horner's booth.
That's right, booth 133.
Booth 133.
Yep.
You guys will talk about how you can service any needs
That's
in
right.
the automation world.
Exactly. If
And
you're a small or medium-sized OEM, you should be talking to us for sure.
That's right. And go to the website, check it out on social media. And we'll include all that info in the description for folks. So
You bet.
they can check
Another
it
thing
out.
I will mention is that there's a lot of ways to interact with us on social media.
Great.
Of course, there's HornerAutomation.com, which is our website.
Yep.
We have a YouTube channel, the Horner APG, which is our division name. That's our YouTube channel. We've got over 200 videos, describing how to use our products. Of course, we're very active on LinkedIn. We're members of A3, of course, so lots of ways to interact with Horner online.
That's right. Well, Chuck, it's been a pleasure talking to you today about all of your new products and releases. We're really excited to see Canvas come out. And thanks for being here on Automate Live.
Excellent. Thank you.
All right. We'll be back here with more later. Thanks for tuning in.
A3 has had a huge impact on the automation industry, and I benefited through my company, General Motors, who used that information, that association, to further develop and advance robotics technology. A3 brought together all of the different supplier companies which could deliver the technology. The human capital, the people that knew how they operated and could work with them, and it had a big positive impact on the success of General Motors, and clearly it had a big positive impact on many other companies and the industry as a whole. has had a huge impact on the automation industry, and I benefited through my company, General Motors, who used that information, that association, to further develop and advance robotics technology. A3 brought together all of the different supplier companies which could deliver the technology. The human capital, the people that knew how they operated and could work with them, and it had a big positive impact on the success of General Motors, and clearly it had a big positive impact on many other companies and the industry as a whole.
Good morning. We are here at Automate Live, day 2 of the 2024 Automate Conference, and we are joined by 3 astute individuals from Kistler. We have Hiro Natsume, we have Jim Vaughn, and we have Peter Starutska. Welcome to the show, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for inviting.
So we have a plethora of topics to cover today, but first and foremost, we want to start off getting to know Kistler. So Peter, I'd say the first question would go to you. So, we talked about it outside of the booth. When you're describing Kistler to someone for the first time? Maybe you're having a beverage with them, maybe you're at the booth here at Automate. How do you describe it to them in simple terms? Tell us about what you do.
I would say simply, where I started on my Kistler is a Swiss company. It says quite a lot. It's a family-owned company, and the owner is working with us. So he managed the company, and it's very easy and simple to work if you are in the direct contact with your owner. From the professional point of view, I would say Kistler is a focusing for measurement technology. I would say we are leaders in the dynamic measurement. We are talking mainly here for the pressure, forces, torque and acceleration. And we apply it in the different industries. We are focusing for R&D, mainly in automotive industry. I would say in last years we are quite good also in aerospace and defense. Then we have a small, but in the US, quite significant industry for us, infrastructure, and we do so-called weight in motion. We weight here the trucks on your highways, and if necessary, penalize them. And we add very interesting application to that. It's a bridge monitoring. We are trying to monitor bridges to protect and predict the safety of that. And the big one, and go to the Automate here, is industry, of course. And here we are historically in automotive, and we will still be the biggest in automotive. But in the last 6 years is significantly growing for us, medical technique and semicon industry, as well as standard electronic, electric and 3C. If I go back to the company for Swiss, it's a mid-sized company. I don't know, for US, we are 2,200 people. But we are located in about 60 facilities around the world, more or less following historically the automotive industry. If you look for our logo, in the Kistler logo is written measure, analyze and innovate. And this says what we are doing, very simply. We are focusing for the right, much precise and best measurement, and that's how you can see what's going on. So we think that we help our customer to see through the measurement and application what's going on in his processes. That's basic. In industry, all this is focused more or less for the quality checking in industry, and we have application that you have a zero defect in production. That's, I would say briefly, if we would have more time, we can continue another 2 hours.
Yeah. No, that's, you're doing a lot. You talked about dynamic measurement. I love what you mentioned about an application in bridge monitoring, not to mention your growth, automotive, growing into the semiconductor space. There's a lot going on at Kistler right now. And actually, as you were ending there, I was reading the logo. You measure, analyze, and innovate, which is exactly where we're going to go with our conversation next, because I want to talk about the importance of data and analysis as it relates to innovation. So, Petter, this is another question for you. Can you share an example of how you've helped a customer gain new insight by leveraging data?
Yeah. So more you measure, you get more and more data. It's a question if you really get more informations. So you try to transfer the data to some kind of information, and it is not a general, it is really connected with application. So maybe example from industry. If we are looking for the quality checking in industry, you have a production line, you produce and we measure, let's say, joining process, forces, and for each piece we measure that it's correctly done.
Excellent.
Customer also innovate. They try to change the process, they try to speed it up. So we had an example when customers speeded up the process to get more, and from quality point of view it was quite good. In some moment we started to measure something that was not normal, and we did not understand it. So we used the data from other sensors, and we found that that when customer increase the speed, the production line has a small vibration, which is not visible, but influence measuring, for instance. Yeah. So we really made a data analysis and found it, and we were able to compensate it. So this was working. By that, we found that with this application, we opened completely new application, and we were able to say to customer what is going on with the line. If the line is vibrate only because of the speed or because something is wrong. And we found that, and we bring him the, let's say, predictive maintenance application. What I want to say here is that if you have more data and somebody start to analyze it, many people came with the new idea, and you are able to realize it. It was not so easy and automatic in the past because this data were relatively isolated. When you have it in the package, you can do a lot of things. Oh, this was, let's say, example.
I think it's there where the data quality becomes then critical. So these days with Industry 4.0, there's so much data available, but it really comes then down to the quality of that data. You need transparency, but in the process, but to get that transparency, you have to ensure that you have reliable, accurate data in order to make those assessments.
So I like where this is going because ensuring that data is reliable is critical, right? We're talking about data quality here, which I think this will be a question for you. How do you guarantee measurement access in this case? If it's so critical, if it's so important, how are we guaranteeing that accuracy, so that way you are able to find when you speed up a line that there is a mini vibration there that's causing issues?
So in many cases, we utilize the piezo sensor technology for force sensing, torque sensing, pressure sensing, and the piezo sensor offers quite good advantages on mass production environment, and it is highly repeatable, extremely high rigidity. So those and compact and lightweight, those are the the advantages the sensor itself offers, so that the accuracy and the repeatability of the measurement is guaranteed on assembly line. So that may be one of the examples that I can provide.
Great example. Jim, do you have anything you wanted to add to that one?
I think once you've got the data, is what you do with the data afterwards. So in different industries, we have also then different ways of taking that data, that transparency in the data, and then having the ability to analyze that data and use it for quality assurance purposes, also for statistical analysis. So it's start with the data initially and then take it into the data management and use that then to control your processes. So that leads then, especially in areas like plastics injection molding, we have full solutions available, which goes right through from the mold manufacturers through to the contract manufacturers, and then finally maybe to the end user, which may be the pharmaceutical company, for example. Each one has their own need for that data, and how they want to analyze that data and use it will be in a slightly different way. One is looking at it from pharmaceutical companies want to ensure whichever contract manufacturer they're using, they're getting the quality assurance they need, and that 100% quality assurance in the production line. The mold maker may have other applications for using that data, and the same for the contract manufacturer. So it's giving them the information they need, that transparency, to take that data and use it how they need it. But first, fundamentally, as Hero was have reliable, high quality data. Otherwise, you'll come to an incorrect decision on your analysis.
So we've covered a lot of ground around data, applications, industry, quality, reliability. There's one topic we haven't totally touched on yet, and that's sustainability. Hiro, one other question for you. Can you tell us about the energy and efficiency benefits of electromechanical joining systems? Because every company impacts sustainability in some way,
Sure.
and I feel this is the way that Kistler really has that impact.
Yeah. So electromechanical joining system is often compared with a pneumatic actuator or the hydraulic actuators. And those different technologies can offer different advantages or disadvantages. And one of them is the sustainability and the energy consumption. There's actually a white paper coming out from Kistler Instrument soon, but the study from the university in Germany proved that the energy consumption on a hydraulic system is 6 times more for similar applications for joining type applications. And also the pneumatic systems is the energy consumption with the pneumatic system is 9 times more. So from that, you can say the electromechanical joining system will have significant advantage in energy consumption. And for coming back to the sustainability discussion, by having less energy consumption, obviously you can connect to less CO2 emission, and also different side of the technology electromechanical joining system is that compared to pneumatic system or the hydraulic systems, we can have significantly better control on the process. By having better process, typically you have less waste, less defective product being produced from the assembly lines. So that is also a sustainability discussions. If you have less waste, then less material discarded, and that is also a big advantage. And also having the pneumatic system or the hydraulic system comparison to that electromechanical joining system typically have significantly less cost of ownership, maintenance requirement, things like that. And all that less requirement will connect to the sustainability discussions. Yeah.
Really strong answer as, let's say, the one of the final questions in the interview. 6 times more energy for hydraulic systems, 9 times for pneumatics. So there's an immediate benefit for electromechanical joining systems. Then you go beyond that. Not only does it provide more control, but then you have less waste as a result of that. So great insights across the board, how you tie in with sustainability. Jim, you've been batting cleanup this whole time, so you get to answer this last one. Where's the best spot to connect with Kistler? Where can we find you here at the conference and afterwards as well?
Yeah, I mean, certainly come on over to our booth. Sorry, I can't remember the numbers. It's 1826, I believe. But is that right? So yes, please come over to our booth. We have all these different technical solutions at our booth, and you can come and see us there. And we can show and explain how that technology can be used for the different processes, whether it's medical molding, whether it's joining systems, and also for the in-process monitoring applications.
And then after the show, LinkedIn and online, where are the spots to find you there?
Come to Kistler.com. That's our main website. You will find all the information there. And we also have a presence then on LinkedIn where you can find additional information.
Excellent. Well, Petra, Jim, Hiro, thank you so much for jumping on. Automate Live will be coming right back to you real soon.
had a huge impact on the automation industry, and I benefited through my company, General Motors, who used that information, that association, to further develop and advance robotics technology. A3 brought together all of the different supplier companies which could deliver the technology. The human capital, the people that knew how they operated and could work with them, and it had a big positive impact on the success of General Motors, and clearly it had a big positive impact on many other companies and the industry as a whole.
All right, welcome back everyone. We are here at day 2 at Automate Live. Man, we've had an exciting day so far. Lots of amazing conversations, and we're gonna have one today as well. So we have Andy Zolso, who is the Senior Vice President at Zebra. Now, Senior Vice President of a lot of things, data capture scanning, machine vision, and robotics. So you really are covering a breadth of field, and we're really excited to have that conversation. Of course, my co-host with me, we have Chris Lukey from Manufacturing Happy Hour. So to kick things off, tell us a little bit about your background and your role. I want to dive into Zebra,
Sure.
but I want to know, you have a resume of a lot of amazing companies over those years. So can you talk about how did you get started in this industry? What's been your experience?
Yeah, I've had a lot of fun in my career. In fact, my career started even before I had a career, so to speak, right? I grew up in the sawmill industry. I was programming PLCs when I was 13 or 12 years old, doing different things, and then I worked a little bit in semiconductor and process engineering, and then I moved into design and R&D. Spent quite a bit of my career in designing camera-based machine vision and fixed industrial scanning systems, and then was responsible for some of the engineering and then marketing of those systems at Microscan. And then moved over into Omron through the acquisition, picked up some of the automation and motion control business there. And then about a year ago, I moved over to Zebra to help run this exciting automation division, which has, of course, as you said, scanning, mobile robotics, and machine vision.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you know, Zebra's portfolio has just been blowing up recently.
Yeah.
When, you know,
Yeah.
in terms of expanding, you know,
Yeah.
it's been
Yeah.
amazing to see a lot of the acquisition. What are some of the biggest acquisitions? I mean, there's Fetch.
Yeah.
But then there was also a big acquisition on the vision side
That's
as well.
right. Two of them, in
Yeah.
fact. You know, the latest acquisition was a company called Matrox Imaging out of Montreal, right? And that brought us just an amazing platform for machine vision. You know, 40 years of machine vision technology, amazing platform, amazing architecture that we've really been able to leverage for things all the way from 3D to VGR, vision guided robotics, to all kinds of other things. And then building on that platform, slightly, just a little bit before that, we bought a company in Poland called Adaptive Vision, was really into AI and deep learning. So we're bringing these pieces together with Zebra's kind of traditional strength in optics and machine vision kind of imaging and scanning with the Matrox core machine vision, 40 years of amazing algorithms and machine vision with adaptive vision AI technology and bringing those pieces together, and it's been fun.
So I feel like Zebra is kind of a nice embodiment of like the automation industry right now because you touch so many different things.
Yeah.
So the next question I have for you is, with all the acquisitions, with the breadth of your portfolio, how do you prioritize what to focus on?
That's great.
Like, it's kind of a leadership style question, but you've got a lot you could be doing, so how do you narrow it down to the right things?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, that's one of my favorite sayings. There's a lot we could do. What should we do, right? It's very simple, and prioritization is important. For us, it starts with the people, right? Of course, it starts with having a good team, and we've got a great team from both those acquisitions as well as the talent we've been able to hire. But not only our internal people, but especially our customers. One of our kind of vision purpose statement is that we want to create new ways of working to make everyday life better for our customers and their customers, right? So how do we help change how business is done, how that workflow is done, whether it's in a collaborative robot type environment, whether it's through a wearable that people use and interact with, or through our scanners or machine vision systems replacing some of those really tedious, you know, dull and dirty type tasks, right?
And I think that was a really good highlight. So I was in your booth earlier today, kind of walking through, playing with some experiences, and it was really human embodied. It was human collaborative. There was a lot of wearable devices. I mean, everything from the robots to the wearable barcode scanners that you know you're doing. It's designed to be human friendly, not replace the human.
That's right.
How does that trend keep moving Zebra forward?
Yeah, I think it's exciting because, you know, I talked a little bit yesterday in my talk about, you know, how humans are such an amazing machine. When you start to break down the capabilities of humans, like we have 27 bones in our hands and this, the degrees of freedom and the ability that we have, there's no way we're ever going to like directly replace humans. But we can help take away those really menial tasks, those kind of consistent tasks that are done like staring at a part all day. We can replace that with new AI and vision technology. You know, there's a lot for us to learn there. There's a lot of upside to do there. But we're excited about kind of helping take that to the next level.
So this is your first time on camera here right now, but you've been on stage already here at this conference. And what you just started talking about, I think, ties very nicely in with the topic that you were addressing, which is you're talking about maximizing workforce efficiency. And you had 3 technological avenues for streamlining repetitive tasks. So let's talk about the dull, dirty, and dangerous, the repetitive tasks.
Right.
What are, and we probably don't have time for the full keynote address here, but what's the Spark Notes version of those 3 technological avenues?
Yeah, so we basically broke it down. We said, okay, you know, there's good engineering discipline, you break down a problem, and we broke it down, okay, you've got the head and the eyes and how you interpret and inspect product as a human, how much annotated data we gather through our eyes. We've got an amazing instrument in our eye being a stereoscopic 3D, you know, high resolution color imager, and you know, camera technology is evolving. We were showing some of our 3D cameras and some of those capabilities. So that sensing piece is evolving, as well as especially the AI piece. So we process a ton of images, right? From birth to age 18, we process at least a petabyte of data and annotate that in our mind just intuitively. So when I give you a part, even to an 18-year-old, he knows, oh yeah, there's a scratch there. Yeah. You know, getting a machine vision system to see that scratch is something only recently we've really been able to start to do. And so we can repeat, you know, take those tasks away from kind of the head and the inspection. And then there's the arm piece. And what we were introducing was
a real tight collaboration between our camera systems on our machine vision with vision-guided robotics, making that setup even easier. There's a ton of cobot vendors here, but pairing that with the camera and the eyes, the arms and the eyes, is really what takes it to the next level. And then the third thing we were talking about is the motion, the material movement, all the walking around that's done in a manufacturing and a warehouse environment and moving from point A to point B. Our autonomous robots, in collaboration with our wearable devices, can really make that process more efficient and make sure that people get, the appropriate amount of exercise at work, but doesn't overburden them with just a ton of repetitive walking around a plant and whatnot, using autonomous mobile robots, AMRs.
So I think there's a general statistic out there, I don't have the exact number, but something around 80% of manufacturing processes are still done manually.
Yes.
Across the board here in the United States. So you covered a lot of great technologies and solutions that are simplifying, improving quality, reducing cost of labor, reducing cost of production, but it can be intimidating to a lot of companies who've never embraced this technology before. And at the same time, there's a lot of misconceptions around this technology, because I think there was a point in time where there was a lot of promises, and then those promises couldn't be fulfilled because either salespeople like myself at one point in time were over ambitious on what the technology was capable of. So how do we as an industry, when we have almost 40,000 people walking the show floor here at Automate, something's happening in the industry. How do we go out and how do you address the misconceptions around this technology and integrating it? And where do companies who are first time adopting these solutions start?
Right, it's a great question. I think, for us, we fall in love with automation. We love automation. We just want to solve every problem with automation. And the reality is, like you say, automation is appropriate more in the right dose for the right customer type of thing. And I think it starts with empathy with that customer and understanding, where they're coming from, what they're trying to do. Are they trying to optimize their quality? Are they trying to digitize a flow? Or, what is their outcome that they're trying to solve? And then apply the right tool, the right case. I think, traditionally automation was very capital intensive, right? It required, huge feasibility study, proof of concept, deployment. But with collaborative robots, with AI, with deep learning, there's so many more tools in our toolbox, and those tools aren't necessarily as capital intensive as they used to be. The challenge is, of course, the complexity, right? There's just a lot more tools to apply. So understanding first the customer need, understanding what they're trying to accomplish. Sometimes it's as simple as starting with, digitizing their process, which is maybe paper-based, or simplifying that to getting things like barcode scanners, getting it into the digital world, and then going from there, once you gather the data, to know, okay, here's the choke points in the process, here's the bottlenecks, and we can automate that first. Because if you're going to automate a process, you got to look at the end-to-end. You don't want to create more efficiency but still have the same choke point, right? So I think it starts with both understanding their needs and then digitizing it appropriately.
So one of the last questions I've got is, we're here in 2024, looking ahead 2 to 3 years, what's one of your big bets for the automation and robotics world over that time frame?
So for us, again, going back to the worker and the worker enablement, the task management, we certainly are looking at continuing to develop kind of that camera system, AI and 3D technology around inspection. There are, hard to say, but exactly, but there's on the order of maybe 10 million people in the world that day in, day out are just looking at parts, inspecting the parts. So that's a huge opportunity for all of us in the machine vision industry as one. Another opportunity is kind of that digitization of the workflow, and how do we help do the next best task through our wearables or through our mobile computers or those type of things, connecting those workers to kind of the ecosystem. We're so used to using in our personal life consumer devices and electronics. It's a shame when you go into the work environment and all of a sudden there's no technology to work with. What we found is that at manufacturers or at warehouses, when we introduce our mobile computers or our scanners or our robots, the employees historically may have been intimidated. Now they embrace it. They love it. They like to work with technology at work. So we see that adoption of technology at work really coming into the forefront, especially around mobile computers and scanners.
What's the characteristic or the vibe you notice at the manufacturers that you go into where the front line embraces technology? Can you share a bit about that?
Yeah, I think there is a culture, right, in certain manufacturers where they're seeking to improve and do things new and differently and wanting to embrace technology. Again, it's been such an amazing, revolution in our personal life in basically the last 15 years with mobile devices, and how can they bring that into the factory? Those people are waiting for, expecting that. I mean, there's probably no one in the Western world that doesn't have a cell phone, right? But then they go in the factory and it's like, okay, where's my electronics that I'm working with, type of thing. And if we bring that to them, I think they start to see the value of that connectivity. And once you set that connectivity baseline, we're talking about the connected factory as Zebra. Once you have that connectivity, you get so much more visibility, and you know what the next step is, and you know how efficient and productive your workers are. You can do gamification, you can do all kinds of things that make work much more enjoyable, and quite frankly, bring people back to manufacturing and see it as more of an exciting area to be. And it's not just, hey, the robots are replacing people, it's people working in collaboration with the robots, with the wearables, with the technology. It's really exciting in that regard.
So, as we wrap up our final question, you really hit on some good points when it comes to datafication, analytics, and understanding. So, I guess here's the question for you as we come back. We're going to sit down again in 3 years and see where we were. We're going to bring up this question. So, when there's digital solutions and there's real-world physical solutions, where do you see the biggest, I guess you could say, success when it comes to those two worlds combining on a warehouse or on a manufacturing floor? Like, what excites you most about what potential exists with that?
Yeah, I think fundamentally the most exciting thing is to take those tasks that are just simply repetitive and wear people out and frustrate people, and you look at the number of turnover in some of those areas where the tasks are just, the 3Ds as you talked about, the opportunity is to take those tasks, move them over into automation, and free up the creativity and the kind of diagnosing of how to best run those plants use the real skill and creativity of people, and I think there's a long way we can go in the next 3 years in that regard. And it's not really directly replacing people, it's replacing the tasks that people really are not, best suited for, that we can help with as an automation industry.
Replacing tasks, not replacing people, I think is a great summary line to wrap this conversation. So, Andy, we appreciate you jumping on Automate Live. Where can folks find Zebra?
Yeah, so it's pretty easy, zebra.com on the web, of course. We're on all the various social media platforms, and if you're here at the show, come on by our booth. We're just right up front by the entrance.
Awesome, fantastic. Well, Andy, Chris, always a pleasure. We'll see you guys again soon. Have a great rest of your day. Stay tuned for another episode in just a minute.